In the previous section, I talked about how you can create array for numbers and array for strings. In this section, I'm going to talk about how you can create array for objects. First, I'm going to create a class which is going to hold properties like name and score. And then I'm going to create objects of that class and then put those objects in an array. To create a class, I'm going to use class keyword. Then I'm going to name my class as student. Then I'm going to define its function, which is going to take two parameters, name and score. And then I'm going to assign those parameters to its properties by using this keyword. So I'm going to say this.name is equal to name, and then this.score is equal to score. Now I have a class student for which I could create objects. Let's go ahead and do that. For that, I'm going to say let student1 is going to be John. So I'm going to say new student, which will create an object for student class, and in which I can pass name of John and his score. So now I have the first student's object where name is John and score is 35. This way I can create 3 more students, student 2, 3, and 4. The second student is going to be Jane. Her score is 90. Third student is going to be Fahad. His score is 77. Fourth student is Monica. Her score is 80. Now I have 4 students and I can put these objects in an array. For that, I'm going to create another variable and I'm going to name that variable as students. And I'm going to again use square brackets in which I'm going to pass these objects comma separated. So the first student is going to be student1, and the second is going to be student2, third is going to be student3, and fourth is going to be student4. Now I have an array which is holding all the students. Now if I want to access the objects inside this array, then I'm going to use the same method. I'm going to use students instead of scores here now. And I want to access the first student. The array starts with 0th index. So I'm going to use 0 here. And now if I want to access its property, I'm going to hit dot here. And it's going to give me the list of its properties. I'm going to print name, which is going to be John in this case. If I refresh the page, click on submit, it's going to print John here. If I change this to 2, the second student is me because I'm at the second index here. If I refresh the page and click on submit, it's going to print my name. You can also access its other properties too. Let's say if I want to print a message saying that has scored, and then I want to concatenate its score. So I'm going to say student2.score. And now if I refresh the page and click on submit, it's going to print Fahad has scored 77. I can also change that for some other student. And then refresh the page, click on submit, it's going to say Jane has scored 90. So this way you can create objects of a class and then put those objects in an array and access them by their index. In the next section, I'm going to talk about properties and functions of an array.